Hello everyone, I am Petre and we continue our series of developing artificial intelligence. So until now we had 4 days of adding ideas to this readme, and today is the 5th day. We are calling those days, each one is an iteration, and in iteration 5 I want to review the first 4 days, cut this item from our to-do list, and organize a little bit this document and uh, start to give the project some structure, some more structure. We have our goal here in the first day. I think we should clarify this goal, but I also don't want to modify the things I wrote until now. So first thing is that I will move those things in a separate document, which I will call logs. I usually use this name for files where I keep a track record of every day during the project. And now the readme is clean. So let's see. Let's call them everyday logs. And the reason, before we jump into thinking about what we wrote until now, I want to make a few comments. I said yesterday that in the process of developing this project, we are also paying attention to ourselves, to the metacognition and the skills which we use to develop the project. One of those being to review the ideas that we have gathered during like the it's something like a brainstorm. Let's say the ideas that we have collected during the idea gathering phase, which can be all can be either, for example, brainstorming, which is something similar to what I have been doing until now, or it can be field research or SOTA research, review papers of the field, and so on. After we have collected some of this information, we are reviewing these ideas. Why? The purpose is to integrate those ideas into the project, into the structure of the project. So I will put this idea first. for the purpose of integrating new ideas into the structure of the project, we are doing this. Review the ideas which we have collected during the idea gathering phase. This is like a principle similar to the one we had yesterday about experimenting. And during this review project, during this review of the ideas, we don't yet have a structure. I mean, we have some things. One is a goal. Other things I call there are problems, and we have like other details. And since I started working professionally, I have noticed this pattern in every project I am developing, which has three main components. So I think that also in our case we can start from this three components pattern, and I'm calling it the PDF. The PDF structure. I have often been using this pattern also when I am reading a book or reading an article, and it is about what I have said here: the goal, the problems, and the details. Actually, I'm not happy with what I said here. The goal is that I want also to, let's add this to the to-do list, to clarify and improve the goal, because the goal, I have said in the first video, is not so clear. Yes, we want to revolutionize AI by thinking from first principles, but we also want it to solve problems on which other models are struggling. That's why I said problems. To eliminate the problems of current systems. It's another goal. And I said details because there may be ideas here in what we said until now which don't fit in those two categories. So let's see. During the first day we said that current systems solve empirically, or more like alchemy, the problem of giving value to its users, and there is no clear explanation about how the system works, and since we don't understand how the system works, it is not sustainable to um, not sustainable, in other words. By that I mean the development will plateau. And that means a new way will emerge. I think that the new way of doing the things should start with this project that I'm doing now. So we want to think about it from first principles. Since this is our goal, I think we will keep this on the readme page. About the PDF structure, I will tell you more about this later. In a way, the P here is the same as the goal. The PDF comes from P I call problem or pain, which you try to address. The D I call details or data, also the context of the problem, constraints, limitations, or other prerequisites that you have to take into account. And the pain or this is also called a goal or need. That's something that you want, and the F is the fix. It's the solution. It's like the value which the value which the project's providing, or also possibly an implementation of the solution. I call it PDF because it's a really common name which most people know. It's easy for me to remember it. I know it may get confusing with the PDF file extension, but I will keep it. So in this PDF structure we have our goal, and actually our goal is next. Let's see what we have in day 2. I think day 1 is here in the readme. About day 2, our current systems are like lookup tables, so it's limiting the reasoning to the training dataset. That's a problem with current systems, problems and limitations. So I will create a new section with limitations and problems of existing systems. One of those is the capability of the system is bounded by the training dataset. In a way, this has been addressed a little bit within context learning. If you don't know what is in context learning, you can Google it or ask ChatGPT about it. And anytime I have spoken many times terms from artificial intelligence which I didn't explain, you can ask ChatGPT about those, and I think he will answer it for you. So the problem that I said about the training dataset is addressed a little bit by in-context learning. But still, if the problem is too complex, the system breaks here. In-context learning is not good enough. This is an argument about this, giving an answer that a human likes instead of creativity. That's okay to give an answer that a human likes. It's not okay to be a sycophant, but the fact that we have some problems with creativity should be also added to the list of limitations here. Creativity is limited. A human is learning from his own mistakes, yes. If you correct an AI system, like when you press the dislike button in ChatGPT, eventually OpenAI will add those corrections to the training set of ChatGPT, or I don't know what they do with the dislike buttons. Maybe they analyze, maybe they do something, but eventually it should end up in the set of problems which GPT can answer if the user also provides an answer to the problem, or maybe I don't know how they deal with those things. But just what I have been saying in day 2 is that just knowing all the possible mistakes and all the ways in which you don't solve a problem does not mean that you know how to solve a problem. And humans do this in a different way. Somehow when a human makes mistakes, he knows how to correct them. Human propose experiments, and from their own mistakes they eventually find a way in which the things work, or maybe they don't. Sometimes, no matter how many times you make mistakes, you cannot find a way to make something work. Those are the biggest problems that humanity have right now, and those are problems which AI models cannot solve also. But the process of trying new things to solve a problem is not, I don't think is in any way part of the existing systems. Trying new ways to approach a problem, and by new I mean never tried before by anyone. A language model can propose such ways to approach a problem, mm, but I think it would get stuck at some point, because usually those new approaches require either some complex programming or mathematics or real world experiments, things that people currently try to solve with agentic systems. Maybe we can find a way to do those kind of trying new ways only at a language level, because I don't have the resources or the knowledge to extend such systems in hardware or I don't know, infrastructure of many virtual agents. Maybe I will eventually have those resources, or I will start collaborating with someone, but for now we will think just in language domain. What else is here? The key insights into thinking are found in the working memory, working with abstractions, building abstractions, and asking the right questions. About this, current systems have a huge working memory, but maybe the limited working memory of humans is actually what makes us have those extra things which language models don't have, because they have a huge memory. Those extra things are, of course, abstractions, one of them, and asking questions. So that's in the category of doing things completely differently and proposing theories. I will start a new idea here. These theories about how to revolutionize. One of them is that working memory of humans is very limited, but context window, which is the term usually people use in AI to refer to the working memory of the system, the context window is very large for large language models. So humans have developed other skills to deal with difficult problems which require a larger working memory, which we don't have, because apparently this is a hard limitations in our thinking. Those other skills, even though I cannot name and describe all of them and have a really clear understanding of those skills. I know I I have the intuition that those exist. I think they must exist because we can do things which language models can't do. Um, one of them being abstraction. Those other skills like abstraction allow us to solve problems which LLMs can't solve. It is a bit of a stretch to make the analogy that our working memory is the same thing as the working memory of language models. Maybe we are doing the wrong analogy here. People usually think that the long-term memory, maybe the subconscious, what we have as in our subconscious about the past is what are the weights of the model, and some of that is part of the long-term memory, and the working memory is that one which is inside the context window, because or even yeah, it's in the context window. Even if people have recently given like a scratch pad, um, which models use to write things about the problems they are solving and reviewing those things, maybe exploring the space of the problem. Also, like, there is a chain of thought framework to split a problem in multiple steps, and then those multiple steps can be solved, like each one is a new problem, and uh, the problem should be simpler because it's part of a larger problem, and having a new problem you can try again to solve it in multiple steps and so on, and deconstructing a problem into steps is it's actually again abstract thinking, and reconstructing it from the parts. Humans are doing this with abstraction. Let's also write this down. Deconstruction of the problem into smaller problems which are easier to solve. They have given this to language models and they saw that the answers are much better, like a few years ago. That's one of the skills which we use because we don't have such a large context windows and in our brain as a working memory like the language models have, and it is obvious that the answers got better. There must I think there must be other such things. One of after they did the chain of thought, they also proposed a tree of thoughts as a method to approach a problem where you not only split a problem into multiple problems, there is another skill that a problem can be solved in multiple ways. Think about in how many ways you can connect 2 points. You can uh, go on a straight line, you can make a curve, you can go on the other side of the paper, or I don't know, you can to connect the dots, you can bend the paper such that the dots are connected. Those are different ways to approach a problem. And in the tree of thought, each of those ways to approach a problem is tried at the same time as splitting the problem into multiple steps and then exploring this tree of deconstructions of the initial problem. Again, those other skills are like abstraction, which allows the problem which LLMs can solve. Deconstruction, abstraction is actually one of those, is deconstruction. Another thing is problem can be solved in multiple ways. What allows the problems to be solved in multiple ways, you can see that some problems are some ways to solve a problem are much easier than other ways to solve a problem. What makes those other things to be easier and other ways to be harder, it's again for us as humans, it's again, I think, because our limitations, which when you try to compare them to the language model's limitations, again you may discover that because we are limited, we are using some techniques which could be also added to the language models. I will also make the analogy here with chain of thought, and here the analogy with tree of thought. Those techniques have had huge improvement but didn't solve all the problems of language models. There are other things which language models need to arrive to the point where they can compete with us in solving problems. So the theory which I'm proposing here to be, maybe we explore this later, is maybe our limitations have pushed us to develop skills which LLMs don't have, skills in problem solving which LLMs don't have by default, but they could have because for example, chain of thought is something that you can force an LLM to do easily with telling it to solve the problem step by step, or let's think this slowly, or such other formulations of improving they call them the prompt engineering. But I don't like the term prompt engineering. I just think that those are actually just skills in problem solving which LLMs can or cannot do by default, and we should push them to those things on top of the LLMs. I have hoped that I can review all the days today, but this video is getting already really long, and I don't like that. I want a short video every day. I think it's enough for today. We have touched everything I wanted to talk until now. I will add on the to-do list to explore more the PDF model, because I wanted to put this to give you more details about this, but I think we have a really good progress for today. In the day 5 we did a review and restructure. In the day 6 we will continue to review and restructure and integrate day 3 and 4. So for the purpose of integrating new ideas into the structure, that's a principle. I want to mark this somehow, so I will add here like a principle of thinking, thinking principle. Also, I will tag this as a thinking principle, because I think they are important and we should come back to them when we will develop our system. So that's enough for today. I hope this is interesting for you. If not, maybe later it will become. I will continue to post one video every day. So see you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye bye.